critics and audiences rarely are on the same page on Rotten Tomatoes. And most of the time, I don't really even check for Rotten Tomatoes. But when your number is this high and this close, that's saying something. Hey guys, welcome to The Real Movie Lovers, a podcast about real filmmakers having real conversations about real life. Topics include movies, TV, current events, tech news, and more. I'm your host, Lisa, filling in for both me and my co-host, Fahad, who is on hiatus for the time being. So you are here with me. All right, let's dive into the show, shall we? So let's check out movies and TV that I've been watching, which I gotta be honest with you guys, I have been so crazy busy with the holidays. So there's so much going on. I literally have only been able to watch the movies that I've been doing with Hot Take Tuesdays, my Instagram lives that I do once a week on a Wednesday, actually. So I have checked out the Australian 1997 dark comedy, The Castle. And this is following a family who live next to an airport, like right next to an airport. No joke. And one day, the developers, the airport themselves, they want to expand the property, which means they agree to buy out his home and his neighbor's home, because there's actually a couple people that live right next to the airport. I mean, it does make traveling really easy. It's almost impossible to miss your flight. But the patriarch of the family, the father, doesn't want to move. This is not just a house, it is his home. So no matter what they're offering him, he's like, no, I don't want to move. And then they start threatening him, and he's like, no, I'm going to stick to it. And that's when they start getting the government involved, trying to force him out. So there are some funny moments in this movie. There's a lot of narration in this movie that I'm not a huge fan of, but the characters themselves are funny. They're interesting to watch. The story itself is kind of like an underdog versus, like David and Goliath type of deal. So I'm kind of here for it. The first act, I'm not gonna lie, the first act was a little bit of a sludge to get through, but once you get over that hill, acts 2 and 3, nice butter. And I enjoyed how the events of the movie kind of happened. So yes, it's where did I watch this? I can't remember where I watched it, but it's The Castle, 1997. So if you are a big fan of like Aussie humor, UK humor, and a fan of the 90s and love a good underdog story, I recommend this for you. And hopefully I'll have more to recommend later. It's the holidays. It's legit the holidays. That's what's got it for me. All right. Now, let's dive into our movie info and news. Oh, by the way, before we do that, what have you guys been watching? Let me know. TV, movies, any recommendations, actually. I've got the holidays coming up. My daughter and I have this whole list of movies and television that we are going to be basically binging and watching together. I'm going to be getting her up to speed on some 80s and 90s classic movies. And there's this new TV series, Arcane. Some of you guys already know about it, that she's going to be getting me up to date on. So it's going to be like a fun Christmas break. I'm looking forward to it. What are you guys planning to do for Christmas break? Time for some movie news. Let's dive in. First story up today, Cameron Diaz on her return to acting. No more rom-coms, only Momcoms. So Cameron Diaz is a talented actress, okay? One of my favorites, if I'm being honest. I really enjoy watching her in movies. And since rom-coms are one of my favorite movies to watch, she's basically done a few of them. Obviously, fan. Me and Cameron, we're here. She doesn't know it yet, but we're here. So she actually took a 10-year hiatus from Hollywood. So she was been MIA since 2014, I believe, was her last movie with Annie, which she did with Jamie Foxx. Coincidentally, she is returning to do another movie with Jamie Foxx. And the movie is called Back in Action. This is about a duo, Emily and Matt, a seemingly ordinary suburban couple whose past lives as elite CI agents come back to haunt them when their cover gets spectacularly blown. I am already on board. Take my money. I don't even need to see a trailer. I'm here. You have Jamie Foxx, you have Cameron Diaz, you have former CIA agents, and what I can only assume is a comedy. What are we talking about? I need no other convincing. So let's see. So what has Cameron been doing the last 10 years? Raising a family. And with former Good Charlotte guitarist husband, Benji Madden. I guess it's a band. Good Charlotte's a band. It was the Fox factor that swung her cinematic comeback. She said, I thought that if I was going to come back and do a movie, the only person I'd come back and do it with would be this guy, Jamie Foxx. Seriously, I had other opportunities along the way, and I was always saying, no, I'm not doing it. I've told you. Wait, what? Jamie? Jamie asked? Jamie? Oh, I can do it for Jamie. I don't blame her. Jamie Foxx is he's not even a trifecta. What's after trifecta? He can act, he can sing, he can play instruments, he can do impressions, he can do comedy, he can do drama. Can he dance? That might be the only thing I don't think he can do, or I've seen him do. Yeah, there you go. I feel lucky and blessed that I was able to work with Cameron, shares Fox, reflecting on his experience making Back in Action with the former Charlie's Angels actor. Wow. So first of all, if he's excited and she's excited, you already know the chemistry on set, the atmosphere is going to be great. And a fun set usually translates to a fun, good movie. When they're having fun, we're having fun. Now, what the question means is she back for good? Is this her official return to Hollywood? And she says it's hard to say. If I say it, then it becomes this thing. I reserve the right to say no to doing a movie ever again. And I reserve the right to say yes if I decide to. I'm not defining anything. I'm just open to whatever makes sense for me and my family at any given moment. I totally get that. So being an actor, it's okay. I don't have experience acting. I'm not a big time actor. I've done a couple little background bit parts, but I do not consider myself an actor. But I do know the energy, the time, the effort that it takes to do that, to be a part of that industry. You really have to give and give and give. Now, lucky for Cameron, she's at this place in her life and her career where she's already proven herself. So she's not necessarily going to have to be going out there, hitting the streets, doing auditions all over the place. She has her audience. She has her success. She has her connections. She's good. But it's still a grueling process. And you've heard of stories of actors who have really given their all into a role. They disappear behind the role, and for some of them it's hard for them to separate themselves even after. Like recently, Austin Butler, because I just did a story on him. He's in my mind. When he did Elvis, I remember him saying it was like it took so much for him to kind of come out of that. He was talking like Elvis. I think even in some other stuff he was doing, he just trying to come away from that role, that character was a lot for him. She says she has one golden rule for herself. No more rom-coms, only momcoms. You know what? That makes me feel really good. Because, okay, now let me preface this with this is not a slight on anyone in the industry. It's not a slight on actresses. We all know the pressures and ridiculous standards and expectations that they have on actors and actresses in the industry, even more specifically the women. But it's nice to hear that she is embracing where she is at in her life, that she's not trying to fit some kind of mold so that she can, you know, get certain roles. She's like, nope, this is where I'm at, and this is where I'm going to be. I'm comfortable with this. I'm good to go. And again, that is not dogging anybody. So she has her lane. She's like, no, I'm gonna stick to Momcoms. That's where I'm at right now. That's where my headspace is at. And I don't hate it. I love it. I also love other actresses continuing to push the envelope and get roles that are outside of just the mom role, like Charlize Theron. So I can appreciate everyone. Now, here's the other thing about the other exciting thing about her coming out of retirement to do this movie with Jamie Foxx that I'm 100% going to watch. Is it coming in theaters? Because if it's coming in theaters, there is a 85% chance that I'm going to see it in the theater. That is definitely, it's checking off all the boxes for me. All of them. Oh, I lost the earring. Sorry, guys. I just love these earrings. Even though, like, I don't have this crazy elongated frame to rock them. All right. So, let's see. All right. So, she came out of retirement for Back in Action and for Shrek 5. So, if any of you guys watch Puss in Boots: The Last Wish, which came out, was it last year? I think it was last year. Time is just going. But at the very end, there's like, I think an end credit, I believe it was, of them going back to a castle far, far and away, hinting at them re-entering the Shrek universe with Fiona, who's played by Cameron Diaz, of course. Michael Myers for Shrek, Eddie Murphy for Donkey, and all of the other characters we've come to love. I am excited, and I'll tell you why. So, the Shrek movies, for the most part, have all been bangers for me. Shrek 1 obviously set the tone. Shrek 2 was a wonderful follow-up and took the fairy tale story in a different direction without it feeling stale. Shrek 3 was a little bit of a miss for me, but I believe it's kind of because of who they were focusing on and who the story was more about, and it just didn't really hit for me. But what I liked about Shrek 3 was we got the family out of that. That's when they had little Shrek babies. And then Shrek 4 was Rumpelstiltskin, which, love it. Like, I just love, there's so many fairy tales for them to pull from for this world. Stories that we grew up with, stories that we know, and how they have made it their own, or they made them villains, made them heroes. Like, I just love what they did with this world, and I'm excited every time we visit it. And since Puss in Boots: The Last Wish, like, surpassed the first movie, okay? Like, so you have Puss in Boots, and then Puss in Boots: The Last Wish. The second movie surpassed the first one. Light years. It was so good. Light years. So the fact that Shrek 5 is in development, I'm here for it. Bring it on. I would like this, please. Thank you. So I also wanted to kind of talk about some of her other rom-coms that I'm a huge fan of, that I love. So some of my favorite ones from her are The Other Woman. So The Other Woman is, in that one, she is playing a, I forget what her role is, but she's dating this guy. So everything's going great. He's romantic. They're loving it. And she surprises him one day at his house and finds out that he is married. And the really funny thing is that her and his wife end up becoming friends. And then they find a third woman that he was, I guess, basically hooking up with, a younger lass. And they become friends. And the three of them coordinate together to enact the ultimate revenge, and it is so hilarious. Like, oh my gosh, I think Leslie, shoot, what's her name? Shoot, from Knocked Up. Oh, from dang it, she's in so many things. I'm so mad that like her name is like escaping me right now, but the girl is talented. Okay, she's in every like freaking funny, hilarious rom-com from like late 90s to early 2000s. But the three of them, the trio, I was laughing nonstop, and it's been a while since I've revisited this movie, so I think I'm gonna have to, because it's one of my top threes of her work that I love. Then you have Bad Teacher, which I don't know if that did so well. It was an R-rated comedy. I think the other one too is an R-rated comedy, but The Bad Teacher is definitely an R-rated comedy. She is not a protagonist you're rooting for. She's kind of like a, what's the best word I can say? A butthead. No, that's not. It's hilarious because she's a teacher who definitely doesn't want to be there, and she's just looking for a sugar daddy, basically, or somebody who who can pay for a lavish lifestyle, and she barely puts any effort into teaching, and it's hilarious comedy. And then there's competition between her and another teacher who is so annoyingly positive that you kind of are rooting for things not to work out for her, even though she's technically not the bad guy in the story. But that's another one. That's a I feel like that one's underrated. Like I don't know if anyone really knows about Bad Teacher. Like, you guys should check that one out. Especially if you're into comedies and you don't mind R-rated comedies. It is hilarious. Justin Timberlake is in that one, and he does a pretty good job as the character. It's a really good movie. And what's his name? I can't remember. I should have probably pulled up names. I know the names of actors generally. Sorry. Then there is Charlie's Angels. There was the first one, and then there was Full Throttle. I think the first one was the best one, but that was from what's the 2000s, early 2000s, I think. I know they've done revamps. I know it was originally a TV show, but there was a movie that we had Cameron Diaz, Drew Barrymore, and Lucy Liu as the Charlie's Angels, and their different personalities, talents, and looks really did a good job with the movie. In the storylines, it was such a fun time watching them. These movies were just fun. I haven't watched the new rebooted version with what's her name? Oh my gosh, what is wrong with me? Kristen. I know it's not Kristen Wiig. I know it's not Kristen Durst. What is wrong with me? I cannot remember her. Twilight. Oh my gosh. I'm going to make a list next time. I'm going to have a list next to me, because I guess sometimes when the camera's rolling, my brain goes, doo, 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 doo. I can't remember names. So, but the new rebooted ones with her, I haven't watched. I have not watched the new one. I was interested in watching it, though. I just never got around to watching it. So I need to check that out. Then there's Very Bad Things, which that movie is a dark comedy for real, for real. Cameron Diaz isn't the main character in that, but she does have a supporting role. It is still a very funny movie that it's one of those movies where it's like at every turn, these characters made bad decisions, and all it did was make things much, much worse. Very Bad Things. Dark comedy. Trust me, you want to watch that. And of course, The Mask, which was Cameron Diaz's debut, which again, it was more Jim Carrey's movie, and she was supporting. Well, she was the lead actress, technically, to be fair. But that was her introduction to the industry, I believe, her first major role. That's when I was like, oh, who's this person? I love her huge smile, her bright eyes. I'm a fan of Cameron Diaz. And I'm going to watch Back in Action. And I'm probably going to rewatch some of these movies that I mentioned to you, because The Other Woman, Bad Teacher, yeah, it's time for a rewatch. What about you guys? What are your favorite type of movies? I'm definitely into rom-coms. Obviously, I love action. And then you throw in like CIA agents and spies. You got me. You got me. So this is what I'm ready to watch. What about you guys? And what are some of your favorite Cameron Diaz movies? How about that? Let me know. Drop some comments. Next up. Oh, wow. Luigi Mangione. I hope I'm not butchering it. Luigi Mangione documentary in the works from Alex Gibney, anonymous content. The guy who shot the CEO and killed him from United Health, who's now been taken into custody, who hasn't seen a trial, who doesn't even have a trial date. I'm not really sure what charges have been brought against him officially. Oh, no, yes, I do. I just saw first, second degree murder. They already are working on a documentary for this guy. This can't be true. No, let's dive in. Let's dive in. Okay, so let's see. Anonymous Content and Alex Gibney's Jigsaw Productions are teaming up to develop and produce a documentary about the December 4th fatal shooting that took place in Midtown Manhattan just before Thompson was set to speak at an investor conference. The documentary the shooting it just happened. December the 4th. What was that, like 2 weeks ago, basically? A little over 2 weeks ago? It just happened. And they're already like, booked. Pre-production. Let's roll. So 5 days after the shooting, Luigi was apprehended at McDonald's in Pennsylvania for the killing, adding a compelling layer to the tale given that the handsome 26-year-old was the valedictorian of his Polsh Maryland high school and is an Ivy League graduate. Okay. I only laughed at handsome because I wasn't expecting to see it in the article. The dude isn't ugly. Okay. It's just funny that that's part of like what they're trying to say. Like, he's handsome. He was valedictorian. He is an Ivy League graduate. Why is he throwing all this away? All good questions. So let's see. Apparently, Mangione was allegedly carrying a manifesto when he was detained that referenced another documentarian, Michael Moore, whose 2007 film, Sicko, offered a searing indictment of the U.S. healthcare system. So this new doc that Alex is working on, Alex Gibney, is going to be looking at and exploring how killers are created and what this particular murder says about our society and the values that we place on who lives and who dies. And I believe a huge part of that has been the not even outcry, but the response, the public response to this death, which has normally, if someone, normally there's a lot more sympathy for the family, for the victim. There's, levity and more grace. There seems to be like almost none of that here. I have not seen a lot of examples of people being sad or, about the death of the United Health CEO guy. Let's see. All right. So the 20-year-old veteran of the health insurance agent, Thompson, his death has exposed a division in America, with many publicly celebrating his demise, while an outpouring of support has popped up for Luigi. So, this is not the same thing at all. But it makes me think about the movie Gladiator and essentially the history of the sport of, gladiator in Rome, and how people would literally watch people fight to the death. And the emperor, the ruler, would do his little thumbs up, thumbs down, thumbs sideways, whatever thing to kind of say whether or not he wanted the person to live or get dealt with. And the crowd would go crazy for it. This is not, this is not to say that this is the same or, that I'm bringing up, but it's just in a way that people's response to it reminds me a little of the cheering of the idea of, gladiators and Roman times. So the documentary will delve into the national conversation around Americans' frustration with the healthcare industry and health insurance companies' denial of claims and care, as well as rising costs. So let me tell you guys, I watched this video. If I find it, I'll tag it. But I watched this video where this guy in the UK, I think he did this in 2019, and he did it again recently. He was going around asking UK residents to estimate how much it costs for healthcare for certain procedures and things in America. So in the UK, it's healthcare. I mean, it's not free. It's, I forget what the terminology is, but it's paid through taxes. So everyone has free healthcare through the taxes that everyone pays. So everyone is putting in, and then everyone is benefiting from that. So you're not getting a separate bill from the hospital if you're going to hospital in the UK. So he was going around asking them, hey, how much do you think it costs for this, to have a baby? How much do you think it costs for an ambulance? And one, they were shocked to learn that it even costs money for these things. And two, their guesses were way off, which was eye-opening for me, because I'm just like, are you serious? One thing that really surprised me was that I wasn't even expecting was when they talked about if you have a C-section and you want to have contact with your baby on your chest, how much do you think it costs? And I was like, wait, that's a cost? That's a cost? The baby that I'm carrying and I've given birth to, presumably hours of labor, impossible pain, and then to be cut open, and I have to pay to have my own child put on my chest? So the cost for that was $40, but then my friend who actually went through that told me, well, for her it was $100. So it's even higher. I'm like, even my mind is blown. I have been blessed with not having to have serious complications or deal with health insurance companies too heavily. I've had the normal, fighting with them for a claim, but not to the degree of, some of what I'm hearing about people who have legitimate health crisis that they're being denied or turned away or can't cover. And even I am blown away by what I'm hearing and what I'm seeing. And it's just, I live here and I didn't realize how bad it was. So Luigi, the shooter, reportedly suffered from debilitating back pain and underwent surgery to treat it in recent years. His ex-bio featured an x-ray of his spine. United Healthcare is known for rejecting about twice as many claims as the industry average. I can only assume how many times he had to go back and forth with this company only to be just turned away. Alex Gibney's Taxi to the Dark Side won the documentary Oscar in 2008. He is currently in production on a film about tech giant Elon Musk and a documentary based on Salman Rushdie's memoir, Knife, Meditations After an Attempted Murder. All right, so it sounds like this whole case is right up our dude Alex Gibney's alley. This is his bag. Okay, this is his expertise. He knows what he's doing. This is his arena. The United Health Project marks the third collaboration between Anonymous, Spotlight, The Revenant, and Jigsaw. Okay. So these two production companies, have worked together before on Spotlight and The Revenant. So I see. Okay. So one of the more shocking things has been not only the public response, right? As far as like what you've been seeing online, typed up, and all the other stuff, but also now there are what physical actions that they've taken. One, I didn't even know most of this. You had people posting wanted signs in the city of New York with photos of CEOs of various healthcare companies. Didn't know that. The book, Delay, Deny, Defend, which were the 3 words carved on the bullets that Luigi used, surged to number 3 on Amazon's bestseller list last week. The jacket that Luigi wore when he committed this act, the Levi trucker jacket, is flying off the shelves. Everyone's buying this jacket. And let me tell you what's funny about that. Human psyche. I'm looking at the jacket and I'm like, oh, you know, it's a nice jacket. I wouldn't hate to own it. Maybe not now, but everyone's buying it, so now it's making it more obvious to me. I'm looking at it. And apparently, so Luigi, he has retained a high-powered New York attorney, Karen Friedman Agnifilo. So he has a lawyer. And the crazy thing is, not crazy. Let me backtrack. Luigi is not one of the people who is financially strapped, as far as I'm aware of. So he is able to afford a high-powered lawyer. But even with knowing all of that, apparently people were still reaching out to his lawyer, offering to pay the legal fees. They're going to be hard-pressed, okay? Hard-pressed to find a 12 juries, 12 jury members who I feel like haven't had a horrible experience with health insurance and can look at the case, cold hard facts and levity. I don't know. But the prosecutors have quite the task ahead of them, and I don't want that job. So good luck on that. Just saying. Now, the thing about documentary, we are, I guess, especially with documentaries and even realistic fiction that I've been seeing coming out, like Dahmer, you know, we are kind of leaning a lot, not only into true crime, but it's becoming a much more source of entertainment. And my thing is, you have this guy who has taken a life, and for the most part, people either have his back or are indifferent to it. And he is getting publicity. He's getting support. His actions are having like a rippling effect. And for me, I'm like, what message is that sending? Not, to other people who may feel on the edge like Luigi and are willing to take the actions that Luigi has taken. I'm seeing why so many healthcare CEOs remove their information from LinkedIn and the websites. Something's got to give. Something's got to give because it is not looking good. It is not looking good. What do you guys think about this? And are you going to watch the documentary? And is it too soon? Because here's the thing. In the court of public opinion, Luigi is innocent. I mean, if we're going off the majority of what I'm seeing online, I know the internet isn't real life. I know that. But if we're going based off what we're seeing online and the response in the court of public opinion, it seems that Luigi is innocent. That is a dangerous thing to kind of go off of because innocent until proven guilty is the sentiment. And you don't, but everyone's on his side. Well, not everyone, but like, I don't know, guys. I'm just reporting on this. This whole experience has been eye-opening for me, and I've just been taken aback. And we need to do something about it. So, let me know where you guys stand on this. Wild. I don't know if I watched the documentary. I don't know. I'm hit and miss with documentary, especially true crime. So we'll see. We'll see. Let me know. Next story. Oh. This one's a real letdown. I say that after our reporting about the guy who killed a guy, but this one's a real letdown for me. Spider-Man Beyond the Spider-Verse gets a devastating release update. Okay, so Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse, which is the second film of the proposed trilogy, it grossed nearly $700 million worldwide. Okay, and it's basically got a 95% score from critics and 94 from audiences. Critics and audiences rarely are on the same page on Rotten Tomatoes. And most of the time, I don't really even check for Rotten Tomatoes. But when your number is this high and this close, that's saying something. So it was one of the biggest hits of 2023, as it should be. The third film in the trilogy, Beyond the Spider-Verse, was initially slated for release earlier this year, but it has since been delayed several times before being removed from the slate entirely. Let me just say this. I am surprised that they even were initially proposing to release the third one in 2024 when the second one released in 2023, unless they had done one of those things where, like, you know, like Harry Potter, the last movie, they filmed both movies at the same time and then split it up. I kind of thought that's what was going on, but then I realized, no, not the case at all. Sony has no plans to release the movie in 2025. Come on. Seriously? The news comes not long after Across the Spider-Verse actor Gerald Jerome said in an interview with Screen Rant that he hadn't even begun recording his voice lines yet. This movie is still in pre-production. We're going into 2025, and this movie is still in pre-production. The cast and crew of Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse are also busy with other projects. Fair enough. Ryan Gosling and Shameik Moore, who plays Miles Morales, the main character. He also stars in The Gutter, which is a comedy available for purchase on Prime Video. So that movie just came out. We did a whole trailer reaction video on that. And the second installment in the animated web slingers trilogy is streaming exclusively on Netflix, where it has been since late last year. Okay, so quick sidebar. I wish more of these studios had taken the route of Sony in just licensing their content out to one or two streaming services instead of creating 30 streaming services. And now here we are, they're gobbling each other up. Everything's being restructured. Separate conversation, I know. But Sony may not be as good as making a anti-hero sans Spider-Man movie, but this is a good move. This is a good move they did. So if you want to watch the second one, it's on Netflix right now. My thing is this. There was a lot of, I believe, chatter, uproar, issue when the second one came out, when we found out how hard they worked the animators, how much they put on them, and the crazy deadlines. And it's not just Sony. Disney's been a proponent of this. Marvel's been a proponent of this. Like, they are rushing these animators, not giving them the time to properly lay out their stuff, plan, edit, and it's not a good look. People need time. I'm all for that. I didn't know, though, that they required this much time. I'm just going in with the expectation that this is going to be the first Avatar levels of visual masterpiece. The first one was already, like, amazing. The second one toppled that visually. That leaves the third one. So it has big shoes to fill. So if you're taking an extra year or two, sad face, to really properly complete this and blow us away, I will patiently wait, but I will still be disappointed. Spider-Man Beyond the Spider-Verse does not have a release date attached and isn't expected to drop until 2026 at the earliest. Excuse me. What do you mean by that? Are you trying to tell me that it's possible it won't even be ready in 2026? Okay. All right. All right. I know that there was so many crazy, visually awesome, innovative, artistic things about Spider-Man. The Spider-Verse. Like, it has really changed the game. Honestly, I believe that the first one, Into the Spider-Verse, already influenced Puss in Boots: The Last Wish, because I saw some of the elements that they put in there, where they were mixing up different art styles, and it was amazing. But I'm very sad. I want this movie to come out. I'm ready. I'm so ready. Like, listen, Across the Spider-Verse left us on such a cliffhanger, right? You guys have to, like, listen, you guys have to see this movie. If you haven't, no, you have to watch the first two movies and then wait for the third one, like all of us. If you haven't had a chance to see Spider-Verse and you like animation at all, if you've ever been a child ever, 99% of me believes that you'll enjoy this. You may not think it's the greatest thing since sliced bread, but you will definitely enjoy this. And it's visually entertaining. The storylines in both movies are very engaging. And the actors, the performances, is worth a watch. It's one of those rare things where I'm like, I feel like almost everyone should watch this movie. Unless you just really hate animation, which, no judgment. All right, guys. Are you sad as I am right now, or are you just kind of like, Lisa, relax? It's a movie. You'll be fine. You'll live. First world problems. I agree. Let me know. Here we go. All right. Our remake reboot news of the week, because they're doing so many of them. I have a new segment. Is Jamie Lee Curtis rumored for lead role in Murder, She Wrote movie Reboot? Well. Here we go. It's rumored that Jamie Lee Curtis is set to play the lead role in a new Murder, She Wrote film. Murder, She Wrote. Murder, She Wrote. I know, I'm not a singer. Apologies. As courtesy of Universal Pictures, Curtis will take over the late Angela Lansbury, who portrayed the character of Jessica Fletcher in the original series that ran on CBS from 1984 to 1996 and in 4 made-for-TV movies. I remember watching Murder, She Wrote. I wasn't, big into it, but I was also very young when it was out. But I remember, like, my family, my mother watching it, my grandmother, and when I was around, I would catch snippets and this and that, and I did enjoy what I saw. My mother still watches Murder, She Wrote to this day. I should probably ask her about this. I wonder how she probably doesn't even know about this. I'm gonna ask her. I want to get how she feels about this. So, Jamie Lee Curtis is the front runner right now to portray Fletcher in the Murder, She Wrote movie. Plot details remain thin at this time, but in the series, Lansbury's character of Fletcher was a retired teacher turned mystery writer who regularly inserted herself into Cabot Cove police investigations to help solve various murder cases. Yeah, so I love this. Now, just because something's a remake or a reboot doesn't mean I'm automatically against it. So just preface that. And this one, I think, is deserving. So from 1984 to 1996, that is some time ago. Oh, sorry. That is some time ago. Now, Jamie Lee Curtis has her first Oscar win she got from Everything Everywhere All at Once, which was a wild movie. that did multiverses in a whole different way. And I enjoyed. And I seem to have come across everyone, people, you fall into generally two camps for this movie. You actually absolutely love everything everywhere all at once, or you're like, it's overrated. I don't understand it. No. I think I need a second rewatch. I know I liked it. I don't know if I'm loving it, but I think I need a second rewatch on that one because there's so much that I missed, obviously. More recently, she appeared in this year's box office flop, Borderlands. Not her fault. As well as The Last Showgirl starring Pamela Anderson. Yeah, I did a trailer reaction for that movie, but I put it on my Patreon from patrons. Let's see. Oh, right. And she has a sequel coming out to her 2003 hit, Freaky Friday, called Freakier Friday with Lindsay Lohan. I remember watching Freaky Friday. That was good. It was fun. I don't know doing this aged up version what that's going to look like, but normally in these Freaky Friday situations, they have normally just rebooted them with a brand new like mother-daughter duo or whoever it is. Like, let me see. What's a good example? What's her name? I can't remember now. This is so bad. But I'm surprised that they're doing a sequel to that versus like rebooting like a new version of it. That's what they seem to have been done. Like with years past. How many times have they rebooted Freaky Friday? I know my girl from. Oh, never mind. Okay, so as much as we wish Murder, She Wrote was being rebooted as a TV series, like the successful Kathy Bates legal drama Matlock, I freaking forgot they rebooted that and Kathy Bates is part of it. I have to check that out. I have to because Kathy Bates as a actor, just in general, she's like a firecracker to me. And when she takes roles where she can really just go all out, it's always fun. So I need to check this one out. Adding it to the list. All right, so I am on board for this. I think Jamie Lee Curtis is an interesting choice, and I'd like to see her take on it. And Angela Lansbury, like she was always portrayed to me, from what I can remember, as like she's like serious, no nonsense, but with like a little bit of like common sense humor embedded in there. So I'm really interested to see if Curtis is casted, how that would look. Now, and Jamie Lee Curtis, I agree with this article, she is well multifaceted. She's definitely has a wide range. Let's see. Fish Called Wanda, True Lies, Knives Out. Have you guys seen True Lives? Sorry. True Lies. Excuse me. Not True Lives. True Lies. With her and Arnold Schwarzenegger. Love this movie. It definitely feels like two movies put into one, but you love it and it doesn't skip a beat. It's so hilarious. And you've got funny like scenes from Bill Paxton, like any scene he wasn't even like a major character, but any scene he was in, he was stealing it. Oh, it was True Lies, hilarious. Okay, she plays like I guess you could call her mild-mannered. I don't know if she's a housewife. I think she had like a accounting job or something. But anyway, she just wants some excitement in her life, and she accidentally exposes her husband, who was some secret agent for the government that she didn't even know. He like was living a secret life. Loyal, just killing people for the government. But it's a great comedy. It's so good. So good. All right. Well, yeah, I definitely am rooting for Jamie Lee Curtis to get this. I am also rooting for this movie. I'm going to probably watch this movie because I also like a good mystery, aka Knives Out, which she did a really good job in that. These movies, they're checking all the boxes for me. They know what they're doing. I see you. I know what you're doing. And yes, it's working because I'm going to watch. You win. Now, if you are feeling nostalgic wanted to tap in and check out what the original actress Angela Lansbury was doing with Murder She Wrote, you can watch all 12 seasons. This thing had 12 seasons. Wait, 19, yeah, 12 seasons. All 12 seasons of the original series are streaming now on Peacock. So if you have Peacock, you get to watch it. If you don't, maybe wait for the streaming wars to end and them to stop. I don't know. Maybe when they merge, you'll be able to watch it or something. I don't know. Who owns Peacock? I mean, who else? Like, are they partnering with someone else? I thought they were. I'll look into that. Anyway, I'm ready for this. I support this. I support this remake. This week's remake, Reboot, I support. Is remake and reboot the same word? Like, is it treated the same? What's the difference? Nothing? All right. Let me know, guys. Are you watching this? All right. Here is our current event story for this week. Friday Free Day. Woo! Okay, so more than 2,100 schools and over 850 school districts across 26 states have switched to a 4-day school week, the majority being in the western United States, where there are more rural schools, and many states are trying out-of-the-box public health strategies to help with work-life balance and mental health. Now, I've heard of people wanting a 4-day work week, having that extra weekday to plan appointments, run errands, get things done, even spend time maybe with family or prep for the weekend or recover from the weekend has been beneficial for those who benefit or from that schedule, who are able to have that schedule. But now it seems they're trying to implement it in schools. So nearly all states west of the Mississippi have at least one district on a 4-day school week, with the largest number of 4-day school weeks seen in Colorado, Montana, Oregon, Missouri, Oklahoma, Texas, and Idaho. Yeah, west. Most school districts that have tried this are adjusting for a 4-day week to help families avoid missed school days due to appointments, family travel, or work, to create cost savings for the district, or to help with teacher recruitment and retention issues. When the 4-day model was introduced, more than half of families responded positively to the idea. Interesting. Okay. No, that's good to hear. There's always jokes about how, parents enjoy, whether or not they're at work or at home, enjoy that time to themselves or time to focus when their kids are off in school. Paul Thompson, an associate professor of economics in the School of Public Policy and a member of the 4-day school week policy team at Oregon State University. Quite a title. He says there has been a lot of research on the effects of the 4-day school week on student achievement. For many districts, especially rural ones, a shortened week brings up concerns such as student mental health, food provision, and reduced time for classroom instruction or sports practices. So here's the downside to that. Unsupervised children on the day off also present childcare issues for some families, and researchers found increased incidence of juvenile crime in areas with greater 4-day school week prevalence. Idle hands. When you're young, you have time to be bored and get into trouble. When you start adulting, you're too busy adulting to do that, I guess. So Karen Quinbeck, who's vice president of statewide partnerships at the Colorado Education Initiative, says, "We committed to 5th-day programming for anyone who wanted it, and programming that would be aligned to our model of learning, hands-on, experiential, outdoor-focused, community engaged." So more than 40 school districts and public health departments utilize grants from CTC to reach students and families with extracurricular activities and resources that benefit social and mental health. MYN provides students with physical activity outings throughout the week, including Fridays. So what I'm hearing is a lot of activities and community infused time, which I like the sound of that. I think that what we need more of right now is community. I feel like we're having less community. And the idea that social media has both connected all of us and separated us at the same time is wild to me. But that's basically what's happening. And here, it kind of them having, it's not just about, oh, there's no school on Friday. They have activities. They have more like different ways of learning available. I see where it says some coaches still have Friday practices. The theater department uses Fridays to build sets or hold extra rehearsals. High schoolers are utilizing their fifth day to work internships or take extra classes through the community college, bolstering their resumes and enhancing their path to college or employment after graduation. So you're always going to have people who like don't take advantage or kind of like don't benefit from this. Those students who, when they're at home, maybe they don't have the best home life, so being away is good for them, or perhaps they don't want to really make use of their time, being active. They prefer to just do whatever, or in the case that they mentioned here, maybe getting into trouble. But I feel like based on what they're saying and what they're offering, the positives outweigh the negatives. So that's why I'm like, this is worth it. This is definitely worth it. Let's see. So our kids love to participate in organized Friday activities. They can rock climb every other week or during ski season, hit the slopes with their friends, activities that are facilitated through community organizations, like MYN, working directly with the school. We often use this day to slowly transition from week to week and to the weekend. It would be great having an extra day to kind of slide into the weekend, to do homework, to work on projects. It's really a huge benefit in all ways. I don't really see a lot of downturn, but I'm wondering if this trend is going to ripple through the rest of the country. Are we going to be seeing more schools and districts and counties taking up this 4-day school week? Oh, let's see. And teachers are benefiting from this. Teachers are getting the Fridays off too. They only have to commit to one Friday per month, and the other Fridays are available for their own professional or personal development. We hear stories about teachers being burned out, having these crazy high expectations, and this is a great way to kind of alleviate some of that stress and give them more breathing. Maybe we can stop losing some of our best and great teachers who are burnt out, overworked, or unsupported. Yeah, I don't see too much of a downside in this. In the post-pandemic era, we know that maintaining work-life balance is essential to a healthy life. So what that tells me as well is introducing this 4-day school week when they're young, we're kind of telling the next generation, hey, it is about balance. So when they go into the workforce, are we going to be seeing more 4-day work weeks now? I mean, they've already started sprouting up more, having more flexibility, which, I think is important because we are more than just our jobs. We are more than just working. We should, we should have that luxury if we can. So I like this idea. I support this idea. I think it's a good idea. And as long as they have the community, the activities, the support in place, then everyone can benefit. Because if you're forcing, families who may not have that Friday off themselves, now they have to come up with extra care, daycare, maybe those expenses or aftercare, that might be an issue for them. So, but if you have programs, or if you have something happening, clubs, trips, then that can be helpful. So I think I like this. I like this. Any takers for the Midwest? You guys are gonna move to the Midwest now? Take advantage of this? I'm an East Coast girl, so but I wouldn't mind taking a little trip over. I've been to Colorado. It's beautiful. Jeez. Texas I've been to. Well, part of Texas. Not the fun part. um yeah, I haven't really done a lot of Midwest traveling, so maybe I'll check out Oklahoma. Alrighty, guys. Let me know how you think about this. Oh, and finally, our tech story of the week. Hackers can jailbreak digital license plates to make others pay their tolls and tickets. Hackers, boy, they really know how to run amok, don't they? So, digital license plates, which are legal to buy in a growing number of states and to drive with nationwide, they offer a few perks over their sheet metal predecessors. You can change their display on the fly to frame your plate with novelty messages. Oh, okay. Or to flag that your car has been stolen. Oh, okay. Wow, that's cool. Okay, so your digital license plate you can change it to kind of, maybe you want it to be festive or something cute. But then if someone steals it, you can literally have the plate saying, "I'm stolen car, call 911, get the police involved." That's interesting. Okay, well, now that we've talked about the positives, let's talk about the negatives. Apparently, they can also be hacked to enable a less benign feature. So, changing a car's license plate number. They can be hacked to change a car's license plate number at will to avoid traffic tickets and tolls, or even pin them on someone else. Okay. Dark side. Got it. So, Joseph Rodriguez, a researcher at security firm IO Active, has revealed a technique to jailbreak digital license plates sold by Reviver, the leading vendor of those plates in the U.S., with 65,000 plates already sold. By removing a sticker on the back of the plate and attaching a cable to its internal connectors, he's able to rewrite a Reviver's plate's firmware in a matter of minutes. Wow, the jailbroken license plate can receive commands via Bluetooth from a smartphone app to instantly change its display to show any characters or image. Yikes. Oh, good Lord. So now, he also points out that this could let drivers with the license plates evade any system that depends on license plate numbers for enforcement or surveillance, from tolls to speeding and parking tickets to automatic license plate readers that police use to track criminal suspects. Yikes. This is wild. So if you can change the license plate number whenever you want, you can cause some real problems. What I tell you guys? Hackers don't play. Hackers are here to run amok. All right. So now this could also allow drivers to use the plate's features, including its built-in GPS tracking, without paying Reviver's $29.99 monthly subscription fee. Man, dude, again with subscription fees. Oh my gosh, guys, we are going to own nothing. Good Lord, how many monthly subscription fees must we endure? Can't they just sell the system as one lump fee? They could, but they won't because, dollar bills, y'all. So if you don't like paying fees and you know a little bit of tech savviness around, or you know a good hacker, you could pretty much surpass the system and use the GPS tracking without having to pay the fee. Now, because the vulnerability that allowed him to rewrite the plate's firmware exists at the hardware level in Reviver's chips themselves, Rodriguez says there's no way for Reviver to patch the issue with a mere software update. Instead, it would have to replace those chips in each display. So the 65,000 plates, digital plates that have already been sold, they cannot, unless they physically grab them back and whatever they do with the chip, they remain on the road hackable. But there's some good news. There's some good news here, guys. Let's see. First, it says Rodriguez says there's no way for Reviver to no, sorry. Where is it? I saw some good news. I promise you. Where is it? All right, maybe I spoke too soon. We'll get there. We'll get there. Okay. So apparently, Rodriguez reached out to the company according to him, several times to let them know of this issue. But the company's like, nah, we just found out about it like this week when y'all told us about it. Okay. So the company noted that jailbreaking a digital license plate to avoid tolls, tickets, or other law enforcement surveillance would be a criminal act subject to prosecution by law enforcement. Yeah, it doesn't mean it's going to stop people. But go on. Continue. The company adds that the jailbreak technique identified by IO Active requires physical access to the vehicle and plate removal, specialized tools, and expertise, and that the scenario is highly unlikely to occur in real-world conditions, limiting it to individual bad actors knowingly violating laws and product warranties. Okay, some good news. This isn't like something that I would be able to do from my computer right now, like and hack in. You have to have physical connection with the license plate. You have to have a special tool and know what you're doing. Rodriguez says it's also redesigning its license plates to avoid using chips vulnerable to Rodriguez's hacking technique in the future. Great. So for the future purchasers of these digital license plates, they will be in a much better position. For the ones who've previously, y'all stuck. Sorry. Now, if that tool that is needed to hack were to leak or be sold online, Rodriguez himself says he doesn't plan to publish it. He says anyone could use it to jailbreak their own plate in a matter of minutes. Oh my goodness. After I just told you guys good news, here he says this. They just need to connect a cable and install the new firmware, just like if you were jailbreaking your iPhone. Oh, okay. So it's still a process. And nowadays, people also do have like cameras on their vehicles. So if someone's messed with your stuff, you could really take a look at that. But you'd have to either be someone who regularly checks their footage or know that someone was messing with your license plate to do that. So in addition to the physical access and time necessary to pull off that hack, however, a license plate saboteur would also need to overcome a feature of Reviver's plates that sends a notification to the owner when it's detached from a vehicle. Okay, that would require jamming the plate's radio communications while tampering with it. Rodriguez's note an added wrinkle that makes the attack even less practical, but not impossible. Okay, speaking of impossible, this does sound like it belongs in the Mission Impossible world. Like that's who would know how to hack this and jam the systems and not let you know that you've been hacked through your license plate. Straight out of Mission Impossible. Digital license plates are currently legal to buy and register in California and Arizona. Michigan briefly allowed them, which I guess they pulled back on that, with many more states considering legalizing them in years to come. As that rollout continues, Rodriguez and Curry argue that license plate makers, transit regulators, and law enforcement all need to be aware that any system that relies solely on license plates as an identifier may be susceptible to digital license plate hacking, with potentially chaotic consequences. So basically, what I'm gathering from here is keep your metal licenses. You don't need a digital one. Do I really need to have a theme for the month? No. I don't think so. So no, but in all seriousness, this I'm glad that Rodriguez highlighted this issue so that Reviver, whether or not it's because they're being called out or is really they really didn't realize, is putting in things in place to kind of circumvent this from being an issue moving forward. I I I honestly didn't even know that digital license plates were a thing. I haven't seen any. I haven't really paid attention. And since they've only really sold 65,000 and they're not even legal nationwide, it's possible that I would not have seen it. Is it legal in Florida? Is it legal in Florida? I'll look that up later. Not too sure. But yeah, like if it's a Bluetooth thing, if it's an internet thing, if it's a digital thing, consider the ability to get hacked a real thing. A real thing. That is the new that is the world that we live in right now. I'm almost like, man, I wish I had learned how to be a hacker just so I could learn how to avoid being hacked. I feel like hackers would know how not to be hacked. And then it makes me think about what's it called? Elementary, which was a Sherlock Holmes spinoff that Lucy Liu would play Watson in it. I forget the name of the guy who played Sherlock. Funny dude, British fellow. I think he was British. Anyway, so the funny thing is that Sherlock would, from time to time, when he was really stuck in a tight spot and couldn't get the resources that he needed, he would solicit this like group of like, I don't want to call them social warrior hackers, but like hackers who could do almost anything, could hack anything, but they move with a purpose. So he would have to agree to do some silly things for them to help him. But it makes me think about that. Like, I need to be friends with some hackers. I have a feeling that it's going to serve us well in the future to know some good hacking people. So I'm putting out applications for some hacking friends who can hack, who are good hackers. And this is for protection purposes only. I do not intend to hack anyone's information. I'm just trying to protect mine. So yeah, this is only going to be the beginning, but this is it again, it's the amount of variables that are involved in the story for you to be able to hack again is like James Bond, Mission Impossible levels to me. Like, you have to have the right tool. You have to know, you have to have the firmware. You have to know what you're doing as far as working the system. And you have to be able to remove the license plate without alerting the owner. So you have to like block the signal somehow. That's a lot of layers of things that you have to do. Not to mention like locating the vehicle. So if you are dating an ex who is a hacker genius and your breakup was not amicable and you have a digital license, maybe keep your head on a swivel. All right, guys, that's the show for this week. Thank you so much for joining me. There will not be a show next week because of the holiday. It's going to be Christmas. Woo! So I'm going to be spending time with my family. Hopefully you're spending time with your loved ones. And I will catch you guys after the new year. Wow. Yes, the next time that I talk to you guys, it will be 2025. Wow. All right. Take care, guys, and have a wonderful, wonderful, awesome day. And let me know if you have a digital reader license plate, how you liking it? All right. Bye.